So today we're going to be going over solving quadratic equations. The first thing I'd like you to do is have a look at this question. The question is, think about, until the end of the timer, what is meant by the word product. Hopefully you had time to think, and the answer of what product is in maths is the result of multiplying two numbers together. Now the next question I want you to think about will be on the screen shortly. What two numbers have a product of 6 but sum to 5? Please pause the video and think about this. Hopefully you decided that the two numbers that have a product of 6 and add to 5 are going to be the numbers 2 and 3. This is because 2 times by 3 gives us 6 and 2 add 3 gives us 5. That is the general concept of today's lesson. So if you've understood this, the rest of the lesson will be quite easy. So the first thing you need to do is think of two numbers which answer this question. They have a sum of 5 and a product of 6. This was the previous question, so we've already said the answer is going to be 2 and 3, which is highlighted in red. Now, I want you to think why I have listed the factors of 6 and pause the video now. Welcome back. The reason why you need to list the factor pairs is because for some of the more complex examples, it's not clear what the answer is. So the more factors you list, or if you write a complete list of the factors, this is going to be incredibly beneficial for working out what the sum is. And then I can work through, I can say, can 1 plus 6 equal 5? No, it cannot. Can 2 plus 3 equal 5? Yes, it can. So it's got to be 2 and 3. Next question. Pause the video now. Again, there are only going to be 4 factor pairs here, or 4 numbers which form to make 2 factor pairs, and the answer is going to be 1 and 6, because 1 times 6 is 6, 1 plus 6 is 7. For the following examples, you can pause the video when I say pause if you haven't already worked it out. Pause. Again, only one option, 1 and 8. Pause. Okay, this one was a little harder. So here, I would absolutely recommend you write down all the factor pairs. So I'm going to start with 1. 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. And then we've got to see which out of these 3 options combine together to make 10. It's got to be 2 and 8. Pause. The answer for this one was 4 and 9. Now, have a look at this question, and you might be able to text your mate or WhatsApp them, or just think alone about what the answer is. So factorise means putting an expression into brackets, but today we are going to put things into 2 brackets. So what we'll end up with is something like this, a bracket and then another bracket. Whereas in previous lessons, we've put things into just 1 bracket. So this is the example I want to show you how to do. If you're aware of how to do it, go ahead now, and I'm going to go through each of these examples. Now, in each of these examples, we are going to find the product of the green number and the sum of the red number. The product of the green number is because it's the number on its own in the quadratic expression. This is a quadratic expression because it's got an x squared. That's the only thing it's needed to make it a quadratic expression. But it can't have an x cubed or an x to the power of 4, etc., because that would not be a quadratic. So what we need to do is we need to analyse the 15 and the 8 simultaneously. The first thing I do is write this little note to myself, sum of 8, product of 15, and it's a really good practice to write this down as you're learning the topic. Now, as before, we're always focusing on the product number first, the 15. So we're going to write down the two factor pairs of 15. We've got 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Those are our only two options. Now we need to glance down the list and see which two add to 8. And you can see the only two that add to 8 are 3 and 5. So in the brackets we put plus 3 and plus 5. Today, because we are doing plus plus, this means that in our answer we are also going to have plus plus. Next lesson or at the end of this lesson for some of you, you might go on to plus minus or minus minus, but not right now. Please stop this video and copy this down now. I would then recommend you do the next 3 questions and check your answers by skipping forward through the video. If you're still struggling to understand the first one, copy this down, then watch me explain the next few. Okay, again, we are looking to find the factor pairs of 8 this time. So on the side, I'm going to write down, well, which two multiply to give 8? 1 and 8, 8 and 1, 2 and 4. Now, what I'd like you to do, if you can, and the first person to do this will get a positive behaviour note, is to email me to tell me which of these factor pairs is unnecessary to be written. There's 3 factor pairs there and we don't need to write one of them. Email me which one and why. So our answer is going to be 2, 4, because 2 times 4 is 8, 2 plus 4 is 6. This one's a really simple one. And the reason why is because we've only got 2 factor pairs. And for this particular question, they need to have a sum of 4 and a product of 3. And as you can see, there's only one option and we have to put those in the brackets. Right, what I'd like you to do now is to pause the video and complete these questions for me. I would recommend you practice as many questions as you can. Off you go. Now I'm going to go over the answers. These red questions, their answers are here. And then the orange questions, the answers are here. And for those of you who want to push yourself on a little bit more, have a go at the hard questions, you have to simplify first, and your answers are here.